TechPB. I apologize for my voice in this review. I've got a pretty bad cold, so if I do a squeak or something like that, you guys can just make fun of me. Let me just get it over now because it's probably going to happen in the review. This is the box. Okay, yeah, there's the squeak. I wasn't feeling too well this week, but more importantly, we are going to do the Chrome review, which I'm really, really excited about. Now, this is kind of why I launched TechPB and why I'm really happy to have the position in the paintball industry that I have, is to take companies that are brand new to paintball, give them a few moments in the spotlight, and just build the awareness of some of the products that are out there. And so I got contacted from Carson, Regency Paintball, got one of the first Chromes to hit the US and all the packaging and everything like that. So we've been beating the hell out of this gun for a couple weeks now, and Carson probably wants it back. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside the box. I'm going to read off the back of the box, just some of the some of the factory notes or some of the marketing on here. It's got the push-pull bolt system, which we're going to get into here in a little bit. Ball rollback eliminated, shoot the most brittle paint. I'll show you how they did that. It's got a nice little bearing trigger, brake beam eye, says operating pressure as low as 100 psi. We'll get to that too. Extremely low reciprocating mass, no kick. I mean, the gun shoots good. Liquid milling, it's got a nice little circuit board in it, slide on 45 frame, so cool. So that's some of the marketing that's on the back of the box here. You go to TechPB, go into the Regency forum. Regency is the company that makes the Chrome, used to be known as the Picadol. And I guess somebody who was Swedish told me that Picadol stands for toy gun in Sweden. I don't know if that's true or not, but kind of cool. All right. Take a look at the box. It's kind of nice because it's not one of those humongous pizza boxes that's impossible to ship. It comes a nice little foam. Now we'll go through the manual really quick. We'll pull the gun out. And we'll start putting together the barrel here. Now when I got the gun, I asked Carson, I said, why, how come you didn't decide to go with all of your own accessories? And his point was very valid. He said custom products make some of the best accessories in paintball. They make some of the best barrels, they make some of the best regulators, they make some of the best ASAs, and for a startup company, it just wasn't worth it to them to go and design their own regulator, design their own ASA, design their own barrel. Pretty smart. Very, very, inexpensive way to cut some corners and cut some of the initial startup costs of launching a brand new gun and just go with what everybody loves to use anyway. So I was like, I'm not going to argue with that. So I'm going to take a look at the manual. If you're curious of how the manual's put together, I scanned the manual and put it in a PDF form, and it's on the TechPB website in the Regency forum. Really nice little manual. Obviously with this gun, there's not much to it. So, the manual's kind of short. It was about 8 pages. The board that's in it, which is one of the most important parts of a gun, the board that's in it has got all of the functions in here: dwell, debounce, pre-programmed fire mode, max rate of fire. You can do the integer, so you can go like 10.1, 10.2, which is kind of cool. Different ramp start, ramp continue, ramp hold, ramp and semi, trigger, function, loader delay. It's got all of it. So all different colors, multicolor LED board, cyan, red, green, blue, magenta, yellow, so it's got all the different functions that were on here. Now, one thing that I was missing from this first release board is anti-bolt stick. I just when I hear spool valve guns, the first thing that I want in a board is anti-bolt stick. This board does not have it. I didn't see any sort of major bolt stick when I was out there. Aired it up, the gun shot just about every single time, but it is something that with a spool valve gun, people have a tendency to over lube the guns. You never know what kind of lube people are putting in it, super sticky lube or whatever, but the board does not have in its initial release anti-bolt stick. So Carson said he was going to get with the board designers at Regency. Maybe we could see it in the future. I hope so. It's just one of those things that's just really nice to have, because nothing's worse than going to a chronograph and shooting, you know, splatter out of your barrel. So, but initial impression of the gun, so you get the board in there. You know, we got kind of the first run parts kit. It's got lubricant, it's got some O-rings, and it's also got some Allen keys. The initial look of the gun when you first see it is it's a great looking gun. They did a great job on it. Trigger's got a nice little palm swell. The trigger frame, the trigger's got a nice curved look to it. It's kind of going in towards that critical trigger, you know, that critical trigger look, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's definitely very comfortable, very fast for semi-auto. You know, the eye covers are nice and recessed into the gun. You know, Custom Products 2-piece barrel. I mean, one of the best barrels that are out there. Custom Products regulator. You know, Custom Products. This is the 2009 Micro ASA. Probably one of the coolest features about this is the push-pull bolt system. And basically how it works is, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here, is on the back of the gun, there's a button here in the middle of the bolt. And basically what you do is with your thumb, you press it in, and out comes the entire bolt assembly. Very easy. You know, you take it out, take your swab, stick it in there, clean it out if you have any mess in there. Your breech is now completely clean. And then you slide it back in. Nothing to it at all. And the first thing that I thought when I saw this, I said, well, wait a second. What if somebody puts a tank in there and doesn't realize, because obviously the Custom Products regulator does hold air even when you pull the tank out. What if somebody puts air in there and and then tries to remove the bolt? Well, let's see what happens. So we'll screw on a tank. And we'll put some air into the gun. Alright, let's try to remove the bolt. Okay, the bolt does not come out. Very similar to the Proto SLG. When there is air pressure in the gun, the air pressure not only goes to the front of the bolt to do all of the mechanical work of shooting the gun, but it also presses against the button so that you cannot remove it. I don't know if you can see my thumb here, but I've pretty much put a dent in my thumb trying to get this bolt out. It's not coming out. Very good safety design. You know, I remember back in the early 1990s, this would not have been like this. You would have been able to pull this out and this thing would have shot across the room and put a dent in your wall and stuff like that. But it's good to see the engineers of companies thinking ahead for the safety of the paintball players, which is awesome. So when you have air pressure into this gun, you cannot remove the bolt. So what we'll do now is let's go ahead and degas it. And while I'm degassing it, and I'm going to take the eyes and shut the eyes off so I can pull the bolt out, is let's talk about the feed neck. The feed neck, even though at first it looks like it's milled into the body, it's not exactly milled into the body. What it is it's threaded, but it's threaded further down. It allows you to put pretty much any loader that you want into here. You know, we'll stick stick the Empire Prophecy on here. Sits really nice and low. On the gun, nice low, profile. It's a great little feed neck, clamping feed neck. Definitely, it's good to see that, definitely with a gun, at this price range, we're going to expect a really good feed neck. So, let's go ahead and turn the eyes off. There we go. So we turn the eyes off. I've taken all the air out of the gun. Now, very simple. Just push the button, out comes the bolt. So, easy to remove the bolt, but it is good to see that safety feature of if there is air in the gun, can you remove the bolt? No, you can't remove the bolt. And so that's it. So let's go ahead and bring the camera in a little bit closer. We're going to take the bolt out, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to take apart the bolt, and then we'll take it out to the field and do an efficiency test on it. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take the Crome apart, and while we got the camera already set up, let's go ahead and weigh it. As you guys can see, there's a battery in it. And let's go ahead and put it on the scale. There we go. So not a bad job on weight. 2 pounds, 4 ounces for the Crome. 2 pounds, 4 ounces. Pretty light gun. Let's take a look here. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and take the bolt apart. Bolt slides out. Now when I first got this gun, I probably counted 300 emails that I got from people saying that this is a Droid ripoff. This gun is a blatant copy of the Droid. This gun and the Droid, in terms of internally, have almost nothing alike. If anything, this gun is more like a Geo than a Droid. You know, that looks a lot like a Geo prop shaft. You know, the bolt kind of resembles more of like a Dangerous Power G3 bolt. I mean, this looks very, very similar to like a Dangerous Power G3 bolt, and the front is either a it's going to resemble more of a Geo can or maybe even a Shocker can, but you know, that's what it resembles. This gun does not resemble a MacDev Droid in any shape or form on the inside. So I don't know what spawned all of those emails. I'm not sure. You know, like I said, I haven't been to Sweden in a while, so I'm not sure what exactly spawned all of those emails. But I wanted to, maybe try to debunk that myth today. That the internals of this don't resemble a Droid at all. I think a Droid has 7 pieces on the inside. This has 3. Completely different design. If anything, the design of this more resembles a Geo than anything else, with the Geo prop shaft, maybe a Dangerous Power G3 bolt, maybe between a Geo or a Shocker can, but that's what this looks more like to me than the Droid. But let's go ahead and move forward. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and lube it. I always tell you guys, I always take the bolts apart, and then people are like, you didn't show us how to lube it. With lubricant, especially with spool valve guns, I always say less is more. I use a very, very small amount on the O-rings. It's just less stuff to go through that's going to go through your solenoid, that's going to stick to your barrel. So basically what I'm just doing is just kind of putting a very thin coat on all of the O-rings and all of the parts where the bolt slides in and out and stuff like that. So as you can see, the bolt slides in and out here. So I lube the O-ring here in the front. Just a little bit. I always say less is more when it comes to lubricant. I mean, anytime I over lube my spool valve guns, I look inside my barrel and all the lubricant is now inside of the barrel, causing my balls to hook and spin when they come out of the barrel. So there you go. I mean, very easy to lube. Nothing to it. Like I said, I use a very thin amount. The lube that I've kind of been sticking to, it's been working really well for me. I've been using Lurker lube. But obviously you can use any kind you want. Hater sauce, Dow 33. It's really not that big of a deal. Now here we go. This is something that I'm really excited about on the front of this gun here. As you can see, the pin, as you can see, the tip of this sticks out to prevent rollback when the balls go into the breech. I love this idea, okay? I love the fact that a lot of companies are now going to these flat-faced bolts. They work better. It prevents the balls from rolling back and forth. It makes sure that the eyes pick up the balls as soon as they drop into the breech. It also prevents the second ball in line starting to inch down into the stack and the bolt going forward and clipping it and sending a shockwave through the entire ball sack. This is a really good idea, and I'm really happy that they went to this. I think we're going to see in the future, as more and more research is done, more and more guns are going to go to this style of bolt to prevent rollback. And this is definitely a great addition. Is why we hardly ever broke paint with this gun. So as you guys saw how easy it is to take it apart. This is basic custom products regulator. I did a video already on how to take apart a CP reg. It's very easy. Hold it by the middle, pop the top off, unscrew the bottom half, out comes the piston, very easy. Inside here, there's not really much other than the electronics, but let's go ahead and take a look at the eyes. Okay. The eyes use a piston style ball detent, a Delrin piston style ball detent. Oops. very similar to you know, a Mark, very similar to some of the other guns that are out there on the market right now that are using the Delrin Baldy tins. Extremely durable, they last forever. You just want to make sure you keep them clean. If you get any dirt around these Delrin Baldy tins, what can happen is they can stick. So you always want to make sure that these Delrin Baldy tins are kept clean. Maybe take a Q-tip and swab out the inside there to make sure that it goes up and down on the track. Spring loaded. So you just push it down, take the spring. There we go. And it's using recessed Allen screws, which is kind of cool. Now something else too that I'm really happy about is that they use an Allen key, one of the larger Allen keys. I'm not sure exactly which one this is because my Allen key set's kind of old, but they don't use the .050 on the screw here. They actually use an Allen key, the third size from the bottom. And I'm sorry for not knowing what the dimensions of the Allen key is, but the bottom line is that they're not using the .050, which, as many of us have found out, strips very easy. They're using an Allen key that's got a little bit of meat on it, that's got that you can get in there and grab. It's going to be pretty hard to strip this screw, which is really important. I know, like on some of my older DMs, it was real easy to strip that screw out. This uses a bigger Allen key. It's a bigger hole, and I don't see stripping out eye covers being a problem with this gun at all. This is the same. This is pretty much the same Allen key that a lot of guns use to remove the grip panels. So that's about it. So Delrin style uses basic standard eyes. They're the smaller eyes that were, I think they were originally found like on the DM. Let's look down inside of the breech here. Let's see how close I can get you guys down into the breech. So you can see that the eyes are recessed back quite a bit, which is kind of cool. So that's the internals of it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hook a gauge up to the regulator. And, you know, this is what I did with the Droid and got death threats. But let's do it again. It's fun. So we're going to hook a gauge up to the CPU regulator, shoot over the chronograph, and let's see what this gun is actually shooting at in terms of pressure-wise. Okay, now what we're going to do is on the box of the Crome, it claims to operate at about 100 psi. Now what I've done here is I've taken an Ashcroft gauge and put it into the side of the CPU regulator that comes stock with the Crome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot a couple over the chronograph really quick, and we're going to get to the bottom of what the operating pressure is of this gun. Let's see here. So here we go. So getting about 283. Okay, 292. 307. Shoot another one. 296. Okay, so we can see that we're sitting right at about 290 feet per second. Now if you come down here and take a look at the gauge, hopefully you should be able to see what the operating pressure is of the gun. Now when I checked it, I believe it was looking like it was right around about 110 psi, which is probably about the lowest pressure I've ever seen a paintball gun cycle at and shoot almost 300 feet per second. So hopefully you can see what that gauge is. But I think if I look at it, it looks like it's sitting just a hair over 110 psi, 111, 112 psi, somewhere around there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shoot a little bit out into the woods. And I'm going to shoot a little bit out into the woods, and we'll keep an eye on the gauge. Okay, so we shot a couple out into the woods. Now what we're going to do is let's just go ahead and take another chrono. Okay, so we're sitting at about 283. Sitting at about 301. So 286. 294. 296. So we're sitting right around about that 290, 293, 294 range, and let's take another look at the gauge to see if this gauge has moved much. As far as I can tell there, that gauge is still sitting just a hair over 110 psi, maybe 111, 112 psi, but that's about where the gauge is at. We'll shoot a little bit more. So we're still sitting at about 110, 112 PSI.
Hey, it's Mike, and we're out here about to do the efficiency test on the new Regency Chrome. We're here with Tizzy from the forums. What's up? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the camera off the tripod. I'm going to show you the gauge. We're sitting right at about 3,900 PSI. Take a quick tank temperature reading, shoot a couple over the chronograph, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to keep shooting paint until we run out. Once the test is over, we'll count how many pods we get. So let's go ahead and take the camera off the tripod. It's always the most nervous part. I always think I'm going to drop this thing. So let's see where we're at on the gauge. Looks like we're sitting right at about 3,900 PSI. So let's go ahead and take a quick temperature reading. About 73 degrees. So now what we'll do is we'll set the camera down, turn on the chronograph, and load up our first pod. Going to remove our barrel sock, safety first. Okay, we'll just shoot a couple over the chronograph. Shoot another one. Okay. Alright, so we're sitting just a hair over 300. So now what we'll do is we'll start shooting. Good. You having a hard time hitting it? Hold on. Hold on. Just one finger like this. There you go. Looks like that's about it. So that's about, I think that's about all we're going to get. So, it looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 pods. We're shooting Exo Menace on the Chrome, shooting just a little bit over 300 feet per second.
Thank you. The Chrome. You know, you gotta say this gun, for being this company's first ever gun, is a very, very well built, well put together gun. We didn't have any issues with this gun whatsoever. We were out there playing with it. They did a great job. I mean, I do like how they went with custom products parts for the accessories. Custom products regulator, custom products 2-piece barrel, custom products, 2009 Pro ASA. Awesome, accessories. This is what most people get when they, when they buy a gun. They look for aftermarket parts. They go to custom products. So I'm really happy that they chose that. Just all around, it's a great shooting gun. It's got the hybrid wraparound grips, the palm swell. It's got a comfortable trigger, Sith style trigger, easy bolt out the back. It's definitely a feature-packed gun. So really, really good job. Regency did a great job on putting this together. I'm really impressed with them putting together such a quality gun for the first time out. We will see as this company grows and gets better and better at producing guns, what they come out with in the future, maybe in terms of software upgrades and changing up the milling and stuff like that. But to put together a gun with this high quality, being their first run of guns is very, very impressive. So I'm going to put the contact information up for Crome. I really appreciate Carson, you guys sending this to TechPB to allow us to get a shot at reviewing this. I'm really impressed with this gun. It's a great shooting gun. Very low pressure operation, and you know, they definitely did a great job. So I'll put up the information. You know, go check out in the forums, techpb.com. They do have a Regency paintball forum in there. If you have any questions, you can either shoot Carson an email or post up your questions in the Regency paintball forum over at TechPB and the manufacturers. So that's about it. Thanks for tuning in.